My name's Sherlock, and I was born and raised in Morgantown, West Virginia. I teach at West Virginia University, and I teach exercise physiology. So when I began my quest on towards that degree, and I am a WVU graduate as well, I figured I better practice what I preach. So I really started thinking about how can I do that? How can I better myself in the cardiovascular system and my muscular system and all of those structures that I teach children, yeah, I call them my kids, my college students about. So I was a rower at WVU, and when I stopped rowing, I figured out relatively quickly that fitness fades fast and weight comes on rather quickly, especially when I continued to eat like a crew girl. So triathlon was coming to town. It was a half iron distance. It was the first time Morgantown had seen that, and I thought, what the heck, why not? Let's try it. And it's not really the smartest progression. You don't normally start with a half Ironman, which consists of a total of 70.3 miles covered within the matter of 6 or 7 hours. But I thought, hey, why not? I can do this. And as soon as I crossed the finish line, I wanted to turn around and do it again. I loved it. I was totally sold on the sport. And I think showing the students that I'm not only telling them and teaching them about exercise, but I'm also out there doing it and living that. I think it really hits home, and it makes them understand that, okay, she's just not making this stuff up. She practices it, she does it. She's out there at 4 a.m. some mornings, 3 a.m. yesterday.
So balancing, that busy training schedule out with your employment at West Virginia University, just talk to me a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, it's a little tricky. With an iron distance, you're scheduled to train anywhere from 14 to 20 hours a week. So it is physically a part-time job. You can define it by that. And if you don't love the sport, if you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to do it. And especially if you're balancing out with a 50-hour plus work week. So being in XPhys, it's in the School of Medicine, we're expected to participate in research, into service, into teaching. Technically I teach 5 courses, which if you tell most professors that, they look at you with a glazed stare in unbelief, because it's a heavy load. And then I also have around 60 advisees, and I spend about 20 hours a week doing clinical work. So it's a very heavy work schedule, but I really do love to teach, and so it makes it a little easier for me to really map out my life. And that's exactly
what are you in as a triathlete, and kind of explain to everybody what that means, okay, and what you do as that level of an athlete.
All right. So in the world of triathlon, there are 3 main competitive groups. The first one is going to be your pros. So a professional triathlete, they get paid to train, they get paid to wear the gear, they get paid to ride the bike. Everything that they do to cross that finish line, all their physicalities, when they cross that line, they get a paycheck. The elites are thinking about going pro, they're testing the water, and they're seeing how well they can do with it. And then I'm in the age group category. So the age group really makes up probably 95% of the competitors. And that's really, I think, where you get some of the neatest stories out of. A lot of people can when I tell them that I'm going to Hawaii, they'll be like, oh, you're going to do that race that I see on TV. And that's it. That's the race that I get to do. But when you talk to these people, and what they remember isn't the professional that won, that crossed the line first. It's the people that battled cancer and still managed to train and cross that line. And it may have taken them the full 17 hours that they allot for the race. But those are the inspirational stories that you see, and it's amazing. And I haven't had to overcome that kind of barrier, which I'm very thankful for. But everybody has their own journey to that finish.
Explain a little bit about what this event actually is.
Okay, so the World Championship Ironman in Kona, Hawaii, this is where the whole idea of Ironman came about. So this is like racing on hallowed ground. It started out with 6 guys sitting around at a bar, and they said, which event do you think is the hardest? The 2.4 mile swim in Hawaii, the marathon, or is it the 112 mile bike ride around the island? So I said, I don't know, let's put them all together and see what happens. So we start out with a 2.4 mile swim, and that is in the ocean, and apparently right now it's closed because of tiger sharks. So hopefully that will change by the time we get there. That 2.4 mile swim is followed by a 112 mile bike, and then that's going to be finished with a 26.2 mile run, or a full marathon. The event's in Kona, Hawaii, and this is, like I said, it's going to be an amazing race venue, but you will hear anyone from the professional to the age grouper talk about the level of difficulty due to the amazing field, because you do have to be invited, you have to qualify to get there. So you're talking about the top 5% of age groups. So I just feel amazing that it's kind of pinch me dreaming stuff.
Kind of sum up for anybody that's aspiring to be an athlete plus have a full-time job, maybe be a mother or a father as well. What kind of advice would you give them in balancing sport and real life together?
So I think that ultimately when you are infused with passion about your job, your sport, your family, you do have a tendency to be able to balance it out because you find time to do what you love. And so I think the best advice I could give on that balancing act is a steady plan, an early morning, and an early evening. So making sure that we allow ourselves some time to relax and rejuvenate with our family, with our friends, but to also make sure that we're doing what we love, whether that be triathlon, whether that be swimming, whether that be riding bikes, whatever activity it might be. I think exercise, everybody's going to find that one type of exercise that they love to do, and that is the key. You find something that you love, so then it doesn't feel like work when you're going out to do it. So when I wake up at 4 a.m. This morning I did an 11-mile run. When I wake up at 4 a.m. to go out for my 11-mile run, I'm not dreading it. I'm thinking, wow, I get all of this time to myself to think, to listen to my music, and just enjoy this town all by myself.